It is Econo Chat. Let's talk business with Mr. Daniel Steinman. A warm welcome to our listeners tuned in right now. And of course, a warm welcome to Mr. Daniel Steinman himself. Today, we have yet another interesting topic, and that is agriculture. I mean, I think a lot of Namibians don't realize the role agriculture plays in Namibia economically. And when we start off with red meat, there's also a very interesting debate around the red line, which Mr. Daniel Steinman will probably give us an input. And on that note, Mr. Daniel Steinman, welcome.
Thank you, Elsabe. I'm so glad that you mentioned the fact that red meat and the red line run together. But I don't want to start there. I'll get back to that a little bit later. You made the remark now, 100% correct, how important agriculture is, but not in an economic sense.
Okay.
If you look at the statistics, you will see that agriculture used to contribute about 5.5% to GDP. That has come down gradually over the years to 5%, and then to 4.8%, and I think the latest figures is there in the region of about 4.6%. So you can see that it is less than 1/20th of the total basket of goods that we produce or that we export. But you said it's a very important sector. It is. For one specific reason. The activity of agriculture as an economic activity is closely aligned to food security. And we've been having the debate about food security for the last 30 years. And I think we have to come to terms with the fact that Namibia, given how the population has grown, will probably never be able to produce all the food that it needs. For one very simple reason, water. Now, you and I have talked about water and the fact that water, in my opinion, is the most important economic factor in Namibia. Now, if you look at the statistics on agriculture, you see why. Because, we've got all the space in the world. It's not as if we don't have enough place to plant. We don't have enough water to irrigate. This is our whole problem, you know. So if we're serious about creating our own food security, we will first have to solve the water problem. And what that means in practice is that we will probably produce on a very concentrated scale along the Kunene and Kavango and Kwandu and Zambezi rivers, and along the Orange River in the south. And that what we produce there will or should feed the nation as far as is possible, but it will never be fully possible. The other point I want to make is, if you look at the importance of agriculture, and I'm using statistics now that's a bit old, about 10 years ago, in the formal agriculture, so the previously white areas of agriculture, or white-owned areas, there are about 220,000 people employed, and in the other areas, it's difficult to say how much is employment, because remember, if you sow a patch of mealies or mahangu, or you plant pumpkins or whatever, melons for your own consumption, you are still technically a farmer, but you are what they call a subsistence farmer. So you produce enough for the household or the family, but very little to very small surplus to sell. And the reason I've also explained to you in the past is very simple. If I have 100 pumpkins, moving them 1 kilometer is a big job. Moving them 5 kilometers is almost impossible. You know, even if I have a little donkey cart. moving them 50 kilometers to a market becomes entirely out of my reach. So you see the practical limitations. First one is water, that we all know what it is. Second one is access to markets, and to turn the communal areas from subsistence production into surplus production. Now, it sounds very simple when we talk about it. Go plant your pumpkins. What's your story? There's enough rain. There's good soil in Amanus. We can, if we're lucky, we can sink a 40,000 litre an hour borehole. Then we can irrigate a fair amount of cereals. Get that to the market. How do you get the stuff from Amanus to Windhoek? There's no market in Amanus. You see the limitations. It's all practical. And people don't think about this. They look at the statistics on paper, forgetting the reality on the ground.
And on that note, Mr. Daniel Shtayman, let's quickly go for a short break.